In the news this week, youth broadcaster urges federal opposition to repeal teen social media ban to gain support from upcoming young voters. A WAMA News exclusive.
Also tonight, our exclusive opinion poll results on whether West Australians believe the tough new knife laws are effective. Ambulance ramping remains a top concern as the government and opposition tussle over the issue. And later, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loom and Naliva Thorne.
Good evening. As the social media ban is set to come into effect for Australian teenagers under the age of 16, one of Perth's leading youth broadcasters is challenging the federal opposition to take action and repeal the laws. Youth Jam Radio founder and CEO Isaac Milcron says the opposition could gain support from young voters if they commit to doing so. He spoke with me exclusively about his viewpoint.
Well, I'm not sure how it will backfire, but it most certainly will. They're going to lose a part of the young vote if when these people grow older. If it backfires, what do they do? Do they overturn it and just start again? I mean, there's some real questions there, and I would most certainly call on the coalition to overturn this. If they want to win back the youth vote, which they have lost tremendously, then they should look at overturning this ban if they form government at the next election. And that's a big if, but if they do, they should overturn this social media ban. We know they supported it, but did they support it with...
all that too.
They did, but did they support it with YouTube in mind? Did they support the extremes the current government has gone to? So I would call upon them to overturn it if they are elected into government. The only way at the moment that this could get overturned is if the Greens get a majority in Parliament, which won't happen for a very, very long time at least. And that's the only way at the moment.
What sort of rates are going to give?
If you went 0 to 100, 0 being it's not dumb, 100 being dumb, I'd say 99.5% dumb.
What holds you back from that 0.5%?
It's the intention. The intention, the government has a good enough intention, and there are some really...
It doesn't worth more?
Oh no, I don't think so.
Why not?
I think taking away a young person's digital connectivity, their right to express themselves, their right to political expression is so big. I think the intention is good, but I don't think it's worth more than 0.5% in my opinion. I think if it's deemed unconstitutional, then that is what the government deserves, that egg on their face. They need to have researched this better. And look, I am not a constitutional expert, I'm not a legal expert, but I would argue that this does take away the right to political expression, which is deeply rooted in Australian society. And that is really, really important to note. So, look, if it backfires, there'll be egg on their face, and rightly so.
Do you think that young people should start a political party just on this matter? Just to focus on this matter?
If they can, they should, but they should most certainly form some sort of group and be active and tell the government that it's wrong, what they've done is wrong. Because I don't know how much consultation was done with young people, and I tried to get Annika Wells to come on my show, and I was going to ask her that very question. How much consultation was done with under 16s regarding this ban? I don't think there was much.
It's been 2 weeks since the WMN News opinion poll on knife crime across the state went live. Viewers have shared their views on whether the law, which began late last year, is effective and whether they feel safer following recent concerns around crime. Paige Reid has the final results.
More than 7 months after the state government introduced the toughest knife laws in the country to help police better keep these dangerous weapons off the streets, we asked WAMN News viewers in a recent opinion poll over the past 2 weeks the following question. With several reports of knife crime across Perth, do you feel that police and government initiatives to prevent these incidents are having any impact? The final figures revealed a landslide result. 95% of voters said knife crime is not properly being addressed. The poll went live last week following the implementation of these tough new laws since late 2024. However, it wasn't entirely one-sided, with 5% of voters believing the government is addressing knife crimes appropriately. The poll comes in the wake of a series of high-profile knife crimes this year. In July, a teenager was arrested after allegedly stabbing a Perth father. Later that month, a Perth mother was arrested following the alleged stabbing of a 7-month-old baby. In February, another teenager was arrested in Northbridge for allegedly stabbing a man who was sleeping on the streets. Knife crimes are on the rise, and WA police are hoping these new laws will make the public safer. Paige Reid, WAMN News.
Opposition leader Basil Zemplis, alongside Deputy Leader Libby Mettam, has given a scathing critique of the WA government's ability to manage the state's health system, following the Director General for WA Health stating it was not coping. It comes after the newspaper reveals that ambulance ramping in WA reached a new record in the state in July. Mr. Zemplis spoke on Friday at a press conference outside Perth's Children's Hospital and Sir Charles Gardner Hospital. Meanwhile, Ms. Mettam added that every minute which an ambulance is spent ramped outside an emergency department is in fact a minute that a patient has not received the care that they require.
It represents the care that is not responded to across the community as well, which is why we're not only seeing record levels of ambulance ramping, but also response times to people right across our community.
Acting Lord Mayor Bruce Reynolds has formally entered the race to become Lord Mayor of Perth, announcing a campaign centred on making Perth the safest capital city in Australia. In an announcement, Mr. Reynolds said safety would be the cornerstone of his platform, aiming to build on his current tenure with a focus on real solutions, strong leadership and results that speak for themselves. Mr. Reynolds has served as acting Lord Mayor since being elected Deputy Lord Mayor in October. Looking ahead, Mr. Reynolds said his priorities would include improved city lighting, increased safety visibility and expanded support for small business and innovation.
One of my commitments is to take the big problems head on, certainly around safety. We'll continue the amazing work the city has been doing. We've got over 800 CCTVs giving 24/7 monitoring. We've committed through the budget for another $5.5 million in increased lighting and increased CCTV. We'll continue to work closely with the state government and WA Police. And ultimately, I believe it's within our remit to become the safest capital city in Australia.
The WA government has launched a $1 million small business growth grant to support small businesses across the state. Announced by Small Business Minister Jackie Jarvis in Victoria Park, the grant offers up to $10,000 in vouchers for expert advice and specialist services. This commitment was made during the state election earlier this year. The WA Small Business Commissioner said the grant would help businesses improve in areas like digital presence, supply chain management and workplace safety.
Well, the fact is currently, due to the revenue we have, we can't afford marketing. So all of our marketing over the years has been organic. And Google algorithms have changed. The only people who are getting seen a lot of times are those that actually pay for ads. And that is something that's out of our realm. So I feel, and like when you're an owner-operator, you only have, you're trying to wear all the hats. This grant would really help to get some expert advice.
A commitment to local solutions and community-led change took centre stage at this year's Yule River meeting. The gathering brought Pilbara Aboriginal leaders, families and government representatives together to tackle ongoing challenges and to push for place-based solutions that work. Andrew Sharp reports.
In a powerful new initiative led by Community Voices, Martu representatives from the Western Desert are preparing to embark on a unique journey to Africa. The trip, coordinated by the Maru mob and longtime community advocate John Wilmot, will see leaders from Jigalong, Yanandera, Newman and beyond travel to Zambia and Malawi, communities that mirror their own struggles and strengths.
We're a community that cares. We know that we're a community that wants to lead change within our own community. And so we want to create opportunities where we can see what other communities that share similar things to us, but are maybe not quite within our same bubble. So there's a lot of things that happen to us that come from without, and we're often led by whitefellow ways.
Wilmot, who spent a decade living in Africa, says the shared values around kinship, ceremony and survival through colonisation make this exchange deeply relevant. 10 Martu community members have been handpicked. not as representatives of organisations, but as family members.
To learn more, and whatever I learn that I can bring back and teach friends and families.
Will go directly back into their families, back into their communities and back to the organisations that they work with.
For Wilmot and the Martu mob, this trip is about reclaiming voice and vision, not through consultation but through lived experience. A journey led by community for community, grounded in the belief that culture is a gift, not a burden. The Martu mob departs in the coming days, carrying with them not just hope, but the deep responsibility to return with wisdom that can help their people thrive. This is Andrew Sharps for Nada Media in Perth.
Andrew Sharp from Nada Media with that report. And now here's Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. Hope you're doing okay in the chilly weather we have at the moment. The news that it's taken 2 years for the West Australian health system to respond to an audit which showed that their mental health units needed upgrading to reduce the risk of patient self-harm and suicide is very disappointing because if people in the system were doing their job incorrectly and it was allowed to go on for 2 years, then those individuals would be in very big trouble. It's a $200,000 contract that's been awarded in one of the units to upgrade the plumbing fixtures and so on to prevent patients using them as part of self-harm. And although this is a tricky and sensitive topic for many, what I want to focus on is why does it take so long for government to respond to their own audits and get the house in order? It's not as if Western Australia is short of money. We're probably one of the richest places in the world at the moment as far as having money available to the government to get things organised. So we really need to step up and do better, and the fact that we might be doing the same in terms of our ambulance ramping and our hospital beds per member of the population, our delays on elective surgery as other states is no excuse. We should be doing better, much better, and we should be building things up to a standard and not down to a budget. So it's a bit of a kick in the pants time for the government yet again to say that mediocre is not good enough. The West Australian population deserves an excellent healthcare system, and for those who are at the lowest of the low points in their life, we really need to be providing them with better support. So 2 years is too long to wait to have things that have been identified in an audit to be corrected, and let's try and do better as a community and keep focusing the spotlight on these kind of issues so that our government, which has very little in the way of opposition at the moment and might be feeling pretty comfortable with itself, our government needs to be held to account. Thanks for your time.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Subscribe to WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnnews.com.au/news/extra. Supporting independent local news, keeping democracy strong. From Bentley myself, see you next week. Good night to you.
Thanks for watching.